Hi, I'm Mandy Pryor, and welcome to Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Spotlight on Pittsburgh is a program about Pittsburgh's most fascinating people and what they do to make Pittsburgh an amazing place to live and work. When we come back, I'll introduce you to our first guest, Patricia John of Hefren Tillotson. Patricia is here to share with you the secrets of reaching financial success in 2018.
Our family was drifting apart until we found a connection.
You have the power to change your child's life. The Boys Town National Hotline can help.
Hi, Patricia, and thank you so much for coming on. How are you?
Good, Mandy. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
Well, I'm a financial advisor with Hefren Tillotson. We do very comprehensive financial planning for our clients to help them reach their financial goals.
And so, what do you like about your job? What do you like about doing what you do?
Wow. Well, I love what I do because I like being able to help people, and I like being able to bring understanding and clarity to financial problems and questions and futures for our clients.
And so if I came through the door and I said, oh my goodness, my finances are out of whack, I don't know what to do, can you help me? What would be kind of the first step that you would tell me to do, or what would you help me with?
Well, you know, that's interesting. I like to think that you can't really know where you're going till you know where you are. So the first thing we would do is help you get control of where you are right now. Some of the things that we think are important, you know, and usually the beginning of a year is a good time to start this. Do your budget. Most people don't have a budget. I think the statistic is only about 35% of people actually adhere to a budget. And when I say that to people, a lot of people say, I'm not going to do that. So if you can't do a budget, at least make sure you have everything, all of your spending, all of your expenses. Have it on a paper, on a document, so that you know what you are putting out every month. Look at a budget, look at your insurance, look at any investments that you might have now. Make sure that you're properly allocated. All of these things are good to take a look at the beginning of the year. So we can look at all of that, and then we can move forward and see what makes the most sense for you as an individual.
And what do you think holds people back from getting in control of their finances?
People are very intimidated by it. Some people are very intimidated by what they have or overwhelmed. You know, recently we met with a client who said, I don't know what I have. She had mountains of paper. She didn't think that she was prepared. What she found out was she was far more prepared than she thought she was, but because everything was in a different place, in a different drawer, and she didn't know what she had.
So it's kind of like going through the process of just writing everything down, knowing what you have, and then you can kind of move forward.
Move forward, get some clarity. And we help with that. And then we put everything together in what we call our master plan, where you can take one plan and see what your net worth is, what your insurance plan is, what your investment planning, estate planning, and we put it all together and we help you use that as a guidebook for your future, and we work through that with you year after year.
And so with Hefren, like, who are your typical clients? Is it more, you know, families and friends, or is it more businesses and corporations?
We at Hefren, we manage money for anyone, for lots of different people. My team and I manage, we have business owners, we have friends, we have people who, we like to say that we work best with people who we like and who like us and who need our help and want to have a collaborative relationship with us. So whether that's someone who owns a business or someone who maybe is a widow or just wants someone to help them, and we like to work with those people.
And you also give good advice on insurance too, correct?
We do work with insurance, and we do comprehensive insurance evaluation, and then we look at what your insurance needs might or might not be.
And so overall, are you helping people more with investments or just getting a hold of their day-to-day, or is it kind of a
We do investments, but we use our master plan as the guideline for that. So once we have everything in line and we know what you have and you know what you have and we know where you want to be, what your risk tolerance is, what your timelines are, what kind of expenses you have and what your financial needs are, then we put your investments in place and we monitor those investments and make sure that they are right for you. And we stay with you throughout the course of your future.
Well, that's good. I think a big part of people going to a financial advisor, a firm like Hefren, is that they're afraid to do it. They're afraid not only to just have somebody go through their finances, but they're also a little intimidated with letting people, kind of exposing people to maybe that they haven't paid enough attention or that they, just kind of overlook it for other reasons. So
that's true. That's very true. Not everyone is like that. But there are a lot of people who think, well, I don't have enough money to talk to a financial advisor, or, geez, they're going to see that I have papers here and there and I'm not really sure what I have. Well, that's part of our job, is to make sure that you're comfortable with what you have. And that's what we do. We want our clients to be comfortable. We want them to understand what they have and where they're going. And that's part of our process. And, we walk along the way with you.
And what would you say is the number one bad habit that you wish everyone would break? Like, what is the, everybody comes in, they have a habit that maybe kind of goes across the board. You hear it a lot. You're like, I just wish they would just, do this instead.
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. Maybe relax a little bit about, and I don't mean relax in that you don't see what you have, but know that you can have clarity with what you're doing. A lot of people are just so nervous about their finances. So I don't know if that's a bad habit, but that was a tough question.
Sorry. And I know that some of the businesses that you work with different size businesses as well.
We do. I could say our Hefren Tillotson as a whole manages money or 401k plans, retirement plans for some very large businesses. My team, we do mostly smaller businesses, but 401k plans through our corporate services, we have a great team that can manage corporate 401k plans and so forth.
And there's going to be big tax changes this year, correct?
Yes. There are some tax changes, and the tax changes have affected some corporations already, so that they are talking about giving back to the employees. They are giving bonuses to employees. They're giving pay raises to employees. And some of those tax changes are going to be go back to the investors in the form of higher dividends. So there's going to be some changes with tax returns, but that's something that's pretty specific to each individual. And we'll see what happens with that. But already, it's had a positive effect on a lot of corporate earnings sheets.
Well, that's good to know. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody wants to have positives when it comes to taxes, right?
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you would want to share with businesses in terms of even small business, medium-sized businesses that will help them get a better hold of their finances and look to the future?
Well, every year we say, what should we do this year? What should we do this year? And I think one of the things that's important to remember that investing is a long term. So sometimes what happens in that 1 year is not the most significant, doesn't have the most significant impact on a person or a business's portfolio. So we need to look out to the future, 3, 5, 7, 20 years, and make sure that we are constantly looking at what we have, where we're going, making sure that we have our investments structured properly for our tax situation, and talk to an advisor who can help guide you on those things.
And so is there anything else that I haven't really touched base on that you would give advice to, or a tip or something that has helped you along the way, especially when it comes to maybe household finances?
Well, I think, start this year by pulling everything together. And again, as I said in the beginning, we can't know where we're going till we know where we are, right? And I think that makes sense, but especially in your financial future. So use January to pull all of your information together. Make sure you've looked at your insurance policies, because a lot of times we're not sure what we have. Pull that together. Put them all in a file together. Pull together all of your bank accounts, your investment accounts. See what you have. Consolidate if you should consolidate. Look at your bank statements. Credit cards. A lot of people we see have credit card debt that they didn't realize they had. Interest rates, they're paying interest rates that they didn't even know. Bring it all together and take a look at what you really have. We can help with that. We have a lot of tools that we can help guide our clients. Most important, again, make sure you know what you have and where you're going with it, or where you want to go. And that way you pave a very clear path for your future.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to bring you out in a little bit with Rob.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Mandy.
Of course. To get additional financial support, please contact Hefren at the Canonsburg location to set up a consultation. When we return, our very own associate producer, Rob Costanza, the growth coach 3 Rivers, will give you his success strategy for 2018. You don't want to miss this interview.
Sometimes it's hard to see where you're going, but you have the power to change your problems. All it takes is courage. YourLifeYourVoice.org.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me
I
back.
shouldn't even say the show, because it's kind of partly your show.
Actually, it's mostly my show, but that's okay.
Yes, being associate producer and all.
Yes.
So what's new? I mean, it's been a while since you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
You're a business coach, so I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of different businesses and helping them.
Yes.
In 2018, it's a big year.
Yes, it is.
So what can you share with us?
Well, my business has evolved, which is great. We want all businesses to evolve, right? So it's evolved because I'm finding a better depth of what people are really wanting and understanding, and what is the clue and the key to being successful. But it all is a common thread, and that's what's the journey that I've been on. Being a growth coach has been fantastic, because I've been able to understand more and more what really motivates people. And so I'm excited to continue to work on those skills to help people grow to that one thing that's most important to them. I can tell you now, but then I'd have to kill you. So
I was going to say,
exactly.
What is the one thing that makes you successful?
Actually, the one thing is clarity. And Patty was just actually speaking about it previously, about how it's so important to have clarity in where you're going. Because yes, you need to understand where you are today. That's where it starts. And so when I work with my clients, whether it be an individual client or companies that I work with, you have to have clarity of where you are today. And you have to face the reality of where things are, so you can put and craft a destination, which is your vision. And that's where we want to go. So that's really the most important quintessential tool that most business owners, entrepreneurs, and people really have.
And so what is a typical client for you?
Typical client really it's a nice range. It's a nice range. I can work with the small business owner, the individual business owner, but what works really well is the small to mid-sized company that wants to create that vision for the company, because it works in all aspects of the business. I can work with the business owner. I can work with the person who's charged to think more strategically about their business. But what's nice, it has collateral effects on each layer of the business. For example, I can work with their management team, making sure that their management team has a good cohesive structure on the company's vision. And then I can work with the sales team, for example, so that they're out there and what they're portraying to the customers and to the clients is also in alignment with the vision of the
Because
company.
you have a vast background in sales as well.
I do. Most of my background is actually in sales. Even though I've had extensive background in training and development, that was always a subset of all the positions that I had in my corporate life, so to speak. And that was in sales. Yes, I started most of my career and spent about 20 years in sales and sales management, and then I kind of always drifted into a training and development piece with that. But yes, I'm a hardcore sales guy.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a pretty important aspect of business is sales.
Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head because if you look, as I did my reflecting over the holidays. I took about 10 days to reflect because I couldn't go outside.
Just wasn't all eggnog and cookies.
Well, it could have been, but it was really too cold to go outside and do anything. So I took some time to reflect, and it always comes down to sales. When you hear and you talk about business owners, and you hear and talk about entrepreneurs. There's people management issues. There's all these different issues that are very, very important to companies and to businesses. But it always comes back down to revenue and growth and driving sales in your business. In fact, you know who Kevin Harrington is? Of course we know who Kevin Harrington is, right? The original Shark Tank guy.
Of course.
Yes. Kevin says that there's one skill that an entrepreneur and a business owner should have. It's the ability to sell because it's about influencing a customer to make a decision. So selling is the quintessential number one skill for every business owner.
I'm going to throw you off for a minute right now.
Yes.
So if you had any invention that you would like to present on the Shark Tank, what would it be?
That actually is a very good question. It probably would be not related to sales. But I'm actually thinking about coming up with my own show.
Really?
Yes.
And what would your show be
It's going to be called the
about?
Guppy Bowl. Okay?
The Guppy Bowl.
Instead of the Shark Tank, Guppy Bowl.
Oh.
That's
You're
a
just
little
totally
bit of
making
humor.
that up.
I know, it's not going to happen.
So-
But yeah, actually that's a great question. A great question if I was to come up with something. But I'll have to get back to you and give you another reason to have me back on the show.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, you do small team workshops, individual sessions, and then I know that you've been seen in and around Pittsburgh, correct?
Yes, in disguise.
No, I think you're pretty much on the main stage, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to be, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so where can people see you coming up?
Well, I have lots of things. Obviously, there's my Facebook page that I have, the Growth Coach 3 Rivers Facebook page. I do some webinars, and I do from time to time some Facebook Lives to give some insight into some hot topics and some different things that are going on. I do have a workshop coming up. And guess
all
what
right.
that workshop is going to be on?
No, I don't know.
Sales. Perfect timing, right? Beginning of the year, you want to give your sales team or your sales for your company a boost of energy, a shot in the arm. Well, that's what this workshop is going to focus on. It's called the 7 Secrets of Sales Success. Say that 5 times real fast.
I can't.
Neither can I. But that's okay. 7 Secrets of Sales Success, right? And it's going to focus on how you're going to grow your business, how you're going to grow your customer base, how are you going to inject life into your sales so you can gain revenue and prosper as a company and as a business. And I've taken pretty much my 20 plus years of sales experience and all the sales coaching and training that I've done and all my certifications, and I've kind of condensed it down to these 7 secrets. So it's going to be great.
What are the 7 secrets?
Once again, if I tell you, I'd have to kill you. So
Well,
we'll
we
leave
don't want that.
Yes, see some suspense for the workshop.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great, and it's I'm having it at one of my usual locations at the Chrome Federal Credit Union down on Racetrack Road. They have that beautiful conference room there. 9 a.m. on February the 21st.
Okay, good.
So I encourage anyone, whether it be a business owner, whether it be a sales manager, or whether it just be a sales rep or sales team, come together collectively as a team and come there and learn these 7 secrets. And you can apply them and start growing your business and cultivating customers and closing business and all those fun things that sales brings.
And so it's a sales workshop, and you will be having these people come in, they'll learn something. I believe I've heard there's some networking going on as well, so
Yeah.
you're going to expand their leads.
Absolutely.
Maybe they can practice a little bit while they're there, right?
Absolutely. Well, that's all my workshops are structured with a networking component because it's always great to network. The more that we can build our sphere of people that we know, the better it's going to be. So rather than just have people come there and listen to me for 2 hours, which I know they'd really love to do, I kind of cut it off at about an hour to an hour and a half because I want to give people a chance to network and to practice their 30-second commercials, their value proposition statements, which is equally important for what they do. So it gives an opportunity for learning, for growth, for networking, and maybe finding some new leads.
And in addition to your workshops, you're also a keynote speaker presenter?
Yes, that's sort of a passion of mine. I love to be in front of groups. And ever since I was in corporate America, I've always taken the opportunity to speak in front of our national sales team or a national organization. So I love to get up in front of groups and talk about
That's
whatever it
hard
might
for a
be.
lot of people to do.
It is.
Especially with, a good message that's
Yes.
getting out to them and effective.
It is. And it's something to overcome sometimes for a lot of people. But there's ways to overcome it if you're really passionate about something that you're doing and a purpose that you serve. It makes it a lot easier.
And just for an example, where else have you spoken?
I've been the Pittsburgh Business Show. I was a guest speaker at the Pittsburgh Business Show last year, the first annual one, and I'll be a guest speaker again this year at the second annual Pittsburgh Business Show. I've spoken, have you ever heard of the IMPEX convention?
Sounds really familiar.
The IMPEX convention is a convention where all of the inventions that you see on TV, they all come together from all over the world and they present their inventions. You know the George Foreman grill and all that stuff?
Yeah.
That's where that all started. So all those little things you see on TV, all those inventions, they all come to this convention, and I've been a key speaker at their last two conventions.
I mean, I don't know whether it's the addition of Amazon being how convenient it is, but I've definitely kicked it up a notch on my made for TV purchases of just stuff. So
Yeah, well, there you should see some of the stuff that's there. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I think they say about only 10% of all, maybe even 5% of all the inventions that are in that convention actually make it to market.
Well, we had somebody who did an invention on the show before, if you can recall.
How did that go?
Susan Castriola. She was fantastic. She brought in this Cucina safe plate, and it covered your food, and when you heat it up, anyway, it's great. You should look it up if you don't have one.
Food is good. I'm listening.
Food is
There's
good,
food involved.
and you don't have to clean your microwave after. That's like the big thing. So, so what else? What are the tips that you can share with our audience today on having a successful 2018?
Well, I think it's what I mentioned before, and even what Patty was mentioned previously, is really come to terms with what you want, where you are today. And come to terms with facing the reality of what your current situation is. And look within yourself and look in the mirror and ask yourself the tough questions. Once you do that, then you can really clearly define where you want to go and where you want 2018 to end up or 2019 to start. That's really where it begins. So as long as you have the reality of today and the vision of tomorrow, it makes it so much easier to craft your goals. You can craft your goals and you put your goals into place, because that's really how you get moving forward, is creating those two and connecting the dots with the goals. So I would say that would be the most important easy tip, without getting into a lot of details, but that really is quintessentially the art of the strategic mind. The strategic mind is basically facing the reality and ending up with creating your vision and goals.
And is there anything I didn't touch on that you would like to discuss or talk about, or?
No, I mean, I think you did a fantastic job today. I'm very, very impressed.
You're too kind.
No, it's just, coaching is something that we all need. And sometimes we don't realize it. But when you think about it, the very best of everything, the very best business people, the very best athletes, the very best of everything, if there's one common thread that all of them have, it's they have coaches. They have people there that are holding them accountable, helping them cultivate their goals, helping them be their quote-unquote GPS to reach their dreams. And that's what I do as a coach, and that's what I love what I do, because I'm there to help them realize their dreams and be there every step of the way to hold them accountable. So when they get to those goals, it's just a great, great, great feeling.
Well, thank you so much, Rob. I will be bringing you back out momentarily.
Thank you,
Rob, as always, for coming on. Contact Rob to get your own custom strategic workshop for you or your team, or check out his upcoming workshop. We are heading into a commercial. When we come back, we'll have Patricia and Rob return to give their final tips on how to make 2018 your best year yet.
Here's Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented, mostly by making changes in your diet, controlling your weight, and of course, by not smoking. Visit prevent50.org and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, and more.
Well, Patricia and Rob, I have you back out here because you are leading everyone who's watching into success this year, just you two, so no pressure. I wanted to see basically how somebody in more of a financial mindset, I mean, you work with sales, you work with businesses, how that can come together and work together. I mean, what do you think it is about finances that helps with your clients be successful as well?
Well, it's very important that part of the when you're being strategic about your business, you have to know the numbers, right? You have to know all those strategy components of revenue and growth, and numbers part of the component. I always tell my clients that the more that they know their numbers and the more that they're in touch with that, the better their business acumen's going to be. So obviously finances is a huge part. In fact, I touch upon that in some of my workshops. I go into a whole financial implications component where they have to have, those are some of the core competencies of just being a good business owner. Yes, having a great mindset is one thing, but also being able to apply that mindset to the core competencies of your business, your marketing strategy, your selling strategy, your people management strategy, your financial strategy, and things like that.
So somebody like Patricia could, you know, potentially take off a lot of the stress and the worries I think that a lot of the businesses have when it comes to finances that they aren't addressing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And what do you think somebody who's teaching the skills of organizing and getting mindset and strategy and could help you with, you know, being a financial advisor and giving
I
great
think
advice?
that's a very important skill. Organization, structure, even sales, and I think you mentioned earlier, no matter what we do, sales are involved, no matter what we do. The bartender is a salesperson, you know, your newspaper delivery person's a salesperson, but the organizational skills are very helpful to us as advisors, because if we're organized, it's better for our clients. You know, we can help them more clearly, and it's good for our clients as well. So helping us as advisors have clarity in our lives. You know, if we don't have that, how does that help our clients?
It's true. I mean, for the person that I am, I'm definitely more of a creative person, and you know, I'd love to spend way more time doing a design than I would love sitting there and doing my finances. I've gotten much better, but how do you get somebody like myself who's more of creative, who's kind of pushes it, you know, it's never as high up on the priority list to say, hey, take hold, pay attention, get organized. I think that's a hard thing to do.
I think that's really interesting, because people always say, well, you know, you either have a math brain or a creative brain. I don't think that's really true, because I am more creative, and I segued into this. So when I see my clients, and that might be a lot of my friends too, because they have that more creative personality, that when they have clarity around their finances, then it gives them a lot more freedom to be creative. Sometimes it takes a little tugging. Let's get this together so that we can move clearly on that path that I mentioned before. But people who are creative are at their most creative when they don't have all kinds of other clutter going on in their heads.
Well, thank you both so much once again for coming on, and I think everybody out there is going to think a little bit more about getting organized and setting a plan into action for 2018.
Thanks, Mandy.
Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you. Thank you once again for watching Spotlight on Pittsburgh. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Spotlight on Pittsburgh, and join us next time when we shine the spotlight on two new guests. I'm Mandy Pryor, and thank you for joining us for another edition.